What's epic YouTube? Excalibur here. In today's video, I am going to rank the top 10 longswords that is considered my favorite and the best longswords in the game. And now, I will say this though for sure, this is my opinion, in my opinion only, so any valid opinions will be deleted comments or furthermore, you know the regular punishment. So, right now, let's jump into the longswords. Number 10, the Fine Reaper. Yeah, really fantastic longsword. It has natural purple sharpness and a really long good sharpness. It has one 4 slot, one 2 slot, and a rampage slot is great. Its raw attack is 320 for a good start. Start off. It's just overall a really fantastic non-elemental longsword. Now, if you want to have boost affinity, you can always boost the rampage slot decoration and have a Deora soul on it, and then the rest invested to regular raw attack, since it already has a natural great sharpness is to it. But what's better than the Fine Reaper? The Revenant Longsword. It has a 25 element. It has natural purple sharpness, pretty decent good sharpness bar, or one 4 slot and one 3 and level 3 rampage slot. You can easily spec into to elemental exploit if you want, or you can expect it into Deor's longsword. And fun fact, the Revenant Longsword also increases the frost buildup if you're using this weapon. AKA Frostcraft skill gets recover faster with Velkhana's weapon. What beats this weapon though? Number 8, the Kimura Legacy. The Kimura Legacy is personally one of my favorite longswords and one of my favorite fire longswords in the game. Sure, its base raw is 290, which is kind of low, but it has a 32 element and a very long white sharpness. Its base affinity is 40, which is the second highest, tied with Nargacuga Longsword, only 5 affinity points behind and Gormagala Greatsword. However, sure, if you're gonna argue about me and say, hey, the volcanic weapon is better, but the thing is, yes, volcanic weapon has an amazing and a big 75 elements, but the sharpness made a big difference there. But the Kimura Legacy, no difference from here. You can easily spec it into Master's Touch, and you'll be able to maintain that white sharpness. A single handicraft can make this weapon goes to purple sharpness anytime. Now, so you might ask, what's better than this weapon? Coming in number 7, the Silver Savior, Primordial Malzeno Tree. Now, yes, you're gonna argue, why is this 7th place of all things? Yes, it has an amazing 3-4 slot and a maximum rampage slot. Kind of like Vitalis level, right? Yeah, not really, unfortunately. Look at the sharpness. Yes, it has natural purple sharpness and a decent amount of long length of white sharpness, but look at the rest of the light. Look at the rest of the sharpness, though. Oh, that's very small. And that is sure is a lot of red sharpness coming, too. You're going to have to expect maximum amount of sharpness if you're going to be able to keep on using this weapon. And it's not too hard. Have maximum handicraft, or even have maximum handicraft, and you'll be able to maintain this weapon for long. Overall, 7th place in the ranking. It's not that bad. But what's better than it, though? You may ask. The Desperate Roar Plus. Now, Desperate Roar Plus is incredible amount of raw. Incredible amount of raw with 350, and it has a purple sharpness and white sharpness, but the problem is those 2 sharpness ball doesn't last long unless you have Master's Touch, Razor Sharp, or even Heavenly Scent. Yeah, but and its affinity is -15, but it's not that bad. Just add Tender Rise to it, and you have a Rampage slot with it, which means that you can upgrade it to Deor Soul if you want to have maximum effect. It will take away the negative affinity, and the rest to Tenderize, and this weapon is a natural monster beast in the behold. But what's better than a Tiger X Longsword tree, you may ask? At number 4, the Abyssal Flicker. Don't be too surprised. Yes, it has lower raw than the Desperate Roar, but the difference is its element access to Dragon. And it has a natural purple sharpness, and it's very big. Hey, this is perhaps the biggest purple sharpness in the game, compared to the Desperate Roar. But however, yes, it has Rampage level 3 at max, but its affinity is a big kicker right there. -25 affinity, which is basically not that hard to do. It's not that hard to build it up, actually. But how? Oh, invest into Tenderize and have a Deora Soul, or best of which, you can also, and pretty much an underrated pick, you can have Latent Power to massively boosted that Infinity to be fixed, or even the likes of the Volstrax Soul, since it has access to Dragon Heart, and Dragon Conversion to help patch up the Dragon weakness, the Dragon low element it has. But other than that, what's better than this, by the way? Number 4, the Ominous Spring. Now, the Ominous Spring has a huge roll compared to Geismagorn Weapon. Though it does have natural purple sharpness, it doesn't last that long due to it's that much smaller. However, its base raw attack is 350, almost the same as the Desperate Roar plus regular raw. Its element is pretty great modern, 43 element, and it has the same Rampage slot of 3 maximum. However, the problem is the same as the Geismagorn weapon. Its affinity is -25. Again, it's not that hard to do. Just add Tenderize. Just add Tenderize or Maximum Might to boost the power of the affinity, or even rare cases have latent power. But even though it's an underrated opinion, and but overall very strong. But what's stronger than this weapon, you may ask? The top 3 longsword picks in my top. And at number 3, we got the Imperial Flicker Flame. It has 330 base raw attack, sharpness. Sharpness is white. It can go purple, whatever it wants to. Its element is, it has 60 blast with only 1/2 slot and level 2 rampage slot, which is fantastic. However, though, the problem is with this weapon. Well, it is fantastic. Now, why did I rate this one number 3? Because of status trigger. With status trigger evade at maximum, you basically increase the chances after the evasion. You gain increased chance to status effect. Means there's more chances of having poison to the monster, and having more chance to explode, pretty much, or even have more chances to paralyze, or even sleep for status element. So that's why I ranked this one number 10 in my list. Now then, number 2, the Flaming Essunas Katis Himi. I can't pronounce that name right, but it has great 300 base raw attack. Element is fire at 43, but it doesn't just do fire. It also does poison, and its affinity is 20, to be exact. 2 with 1 4 slot, and the rest is 1 2 slot. Slap one, and the rest of the rampage slot is at maximum at level 3 rampage decoration level. You can have a slap a Deor Soul, and then the rest of it you can spec to Cumulos's Blessings level 3, and that extends the duration of poison. And however, the main problem about this weapon is its sharpness is similar to the Silver Severe, is that its sharpness doesn't last. You see how small that purple sharpness is, and the white sharpness, and the blue sharpness, the green and yellow, and look at the rest. Slap on yeah, that slide up, and it will last incredibly long. long. But now, for number one longsword, in my opinion. In my opinion, the Chaos and Lao have base 330 raw attack, which is great. Yeah, and the sharpness is literally white sharpness, almost the same as exact sharpness length as a volcanic longsword. Yeah, base element is dragon in the 42. Yeah, its affinity is negative 30 and 15. Its slot is 1-3 slot and 1-1 slot with a rampage slot of slot decoration is 2. This weapon is obviously, in my opinion, the king, in my opinion. And for a good reason, because it synergized so many, and I mean so many. It's like Dragon Heart, Dragon Conversion, and even the Frenzied Bloodlust. Since after you beaten the Frenzied Bloodlust, you gain an extra wire bug. You even put furrow on it. You can have Bloodlust, and if you manage to beat the Frenzy, you gain massive increase affinity, almost up to 100, depending on the level of the Bloodlust. And even if you didn't beat the Bloodlust, you can always have either latent power or tenderize to make up some of the power for the affinity. It's just that good, and be sure you add that crit boost, because that affinity there is insanely good for that insane DPS this time. And no wonder why I ranked this a weapon at the number 1 in the longsword category. Thanks for watching, and Skills signing out.